Hello, good morning, good afternoon, whichever it is, wherever you are. Welcome to my kitchen once again. Yeah, this is like such a lovely weekly thing to do. I think I've been chatting to quite a few of you during the week on Facebook and in the different groups and pages and stuff like that. And I can honestly say that knowing that I'm going to be seeing you guys, I don't really get to see, but I get to see like the words that you write and the lovely words that you write is really, really keeping me sane. So thank you for that, and thank you for bringing like all of like your lovely energy and positivity and just like your supportiveness of me and of everyone else. It's really, really, really lovely. So I can definitely say like out of like the last like 10 months that we've been through, this is kind of like one of the best things that has happened during that time. Also getting engaged was pretty awesome too. So but like a couple of like really good things have happened, and of course we have Bo on the way as well, so hopefully she'll be with us next month, fingers crossed. So hello to everybody who has already joined us. Colleen, quick off the mark and is cooking along. Glad to hear it. Joss is here. Joss, are you cooking along today? Denise says greetings and a hello everyone. Jane, one of my lovely chef students, is here and says good morning. If you guys want any yoga inspiration, then Jane is the person to follow. She is always sharing these kind of like bendy videos. Things that I'm never going to be able to do, but I know that some of you guys might be into that, so do check out Jane and what she does. Maria says hello. Annie says hi, I'm going to try and cook along. I say that because I'm not quite ready. Okay, well I'll just like keep talking for a while, because you know me, Annie, I will talk about food until the cows come home. And yes, there is a vegan saying in there somewhere that you guys can work out for me, because I'm not clever enough to do it. And Anna, welcome. And Khan is cooking along on my it's his birthday today. That's very exciting. I love birthdays. And I think we have like a few group birthdays coming up. So I know that I just saw that Doug is here, and I know that his birthday is soon, but he hasn't told me what date. So I'll be very, very interested to know what date. And I am going to back him into a corner in this one and say that he does actually have to tell us now. And I think we've got Patricia, one of my chef students. It's her birthday soon as well. So if she's along, then I would like to know when her birthday is too. And of course, big happy birthday to Khan, our comedian who has kept us laughing when, quite frankly, maybe we haven't been in a position to even want to laugh, but he has definitely brought a lot of comedy to the show, which has been absolutely beautiful. So thank you for being a part of the community, Khan. And I hope that you have a lovely birthday. This is a great thing to make on your birthday. Really, really good thing to make on your birthday. Karen is with us, and Jane says, yep, go yoga girl here. Definitely. Paul says it's the 156th Facebook Live interactive session. Yes, absolutely. Doug says he's not getting sound on his iPad, but I think that must just be you, because I think everybody else seems to be okay. So do let me know if everything's okay with the sound. George saying happy birthday to Khan. Joss says, yes, she's been told to make the cookies. Jay doesn't like ginger, so can I use nutmeg? Yes, absolutely. First of all, doesn't like ginger. What? No. Okay. Fair enough, doesn't like ginger. Yes, use nutmeg, but don't use anywhere near as much nutmeg as we're going to use ginger, because nutmeg is one of these spices that you do have to be quite careful with, because it's very, very strong. And I know that our Justine loves nutmeg, but I don't think anyone likes it so much that they're going to put 1 tablespoon of it into cookies. So you're going to have to kind of like guess how much. I think it also depends whether you're going to be putting fresh or pre-ground in as well. But yeah, use way less. Paul says, greetings from Galway City on the west coast of Ireland. I've never been to Ireland. I'd really love to go. I hear it's absolutely beautiful. Anna says, can I mix oats and ground almonds? Yes, absolutely, you absolutely can. Doug said, happy birthday to Khan. Oh, and he says his birthday is the 6th of February. There we go. Thank you. Oh, Paul's baking along Wonderful, wonderful. I think Paul did actually mention this is a recipe that he will, that he really, really liked. So, yeah, that's great. Oh, Patricia is here, and she says that she's there with her mini chefs. I think that means that she's there with her kids. So not just like tiny chefs. But yeah, so kids are cooking along, which this is a great recipe for kids to make as well, because it's really, really easy. There's no kind of like, knives involved or anything like that you have to be worried about. So it's a really, really great one. So Patricia, please do let us know when your birthday is, because we're taking a bit of a birthday roll call here, because we've got quite a few coming up, and it's mine on the 15th. I don't know if we're going to be doing a show then, actually. And Christine says, I'm sort of cooking along. Okay. There's just a bit of a time slip thanks to the grandsons. Yes, it happens. It happens. We have had all manner of things stopping people from cooking along, from leaky ceilings. That was a bit of a scary one, to people popping round to someone's house unexpectedly. Things like that. But let me know if I need to slow down or anything like that. Khan says, thank you, Chef Day, and everyone I've met here. Truly blessed to have met you. Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. Oh, Doug says he has it on his phone now, so he can listen. And Jeff has mentioned, are you using the FB app? And he had that problem last week. Yes, of course. So that might be the issue. And Doug said you were awesome on the radio this week, Dave. Well done. Thank you. I was so nervous the first time. I don't know what was wrong with me. The second time, because I was on the day after, was much better. Much better. Okay. So Joss is asking for the ground nutmeg, so like half a tablespoon. I would think even less. So what I would do if you are, so Joss is going to swap out the ground ginger for ground nutmeg. So I would make the mix without the nutmeg in it, and then put maybe, so we've got like 1 tablespoon of ground ginger. I would say half a teaspoon of nutmeg. Okay, mix it all in, taste it, see how it is, and then if you need to add more, you can add more. And that's what I mean by like nutmeg being like such a strong spice that you have to use a lot less of it. But it's also quite an economical spice, because you can have a jar in your cupboard for quite a long time. Not in Justine's house, of course, but for everyone else. So yes, just be a bit careful with it. I think if ever you're in doubt, use a lot less, and then see if you can taste it and add to it, and keep doing that. Now, of course, if you guys are using gram flour, you're going to get the gram flour taste, so you're going to have to be able to like taste through that to see if you need to add more nutmeg. Khan said gingerbread or birthday jokes. I think we should have a cross-contamination of gingerbread and birthday jokes. Oh, and Michelle is here from New York. Such a lovely city. Hello. I don't think you've ever popped up and said hello. So hello if it's your first time here. Hello if it's your second, third, or fourth time. So sorry, I'm being really silly today. So Patricia says that her birthday is on the 27th and she'll be 40. The big 40. The big, yeah. It's a lot of people kind of build it up, but it's actually all right. It's all right. I've been there and done that. Well past it now. And Annie says, I would have loved to listen to you, but I couldn't find the station. Well, that's okay, because I've actually scheduled a post to share the whole show with you, well, my bit of the show, later on today. So after we've done this, you can have a look at the page, and it should be up there around like 1:30 or something like that. So then you can listen to it, and then you can see if you can tell if I'm nervous, because I think you guys can probably hear it in my voice, because you know what I sound like. Oh, Joss says, yeah, not here. Justine adds it to everything. Yeah, she is the nutmeg queen. Okay, right. Oh, David's here. Good. Okay, let's get started. Just before we do get started today, I just wanted to let you guys know about this lovely book that Dr. Gemma has released. So Dr. Gemma has been on the show quite a while ago. We did a lovely Q&A with her. Well, that's just a bit bleaching out. There we go. You can see it better. So if you guys are interested in vegan nutrition, this is a really, really, really good book for you, because Dr. Gemma is fantastic at making everyone understand nutrition. Like, she puts it in such a good way. And she's done quite a few talks for me and the students at the school as well. So yeah, if you guys are looking for a nutrition book, then check out the Plant Power Doctor. There we go. So, and I think you can kind of pretty much get that from everywhere. Like, it's on Amazon, and I think it'll probably be available in Waterstones and, you know, regular bookshops. So do check that out. And let's get on to the recipe today. Let me just see if we've got any more questions. Doug said, I'll be 52. No, you won't. Such a fibber. As we used to say as kids, chin your rack on. Don't even know what that meant. So, and it equates to 2 marathons. That's such a Doug thing to say. Okay, so Annie says, oh, brilliant, and happy birthday to Patricia. Oh, and Doug said that he's ordered the book already. Fantastic. Denise says, we will all have the opportunity to listen to you on the radio show. Good. Oh, it was a little bit nerve-wracking. Okay, right. So now we're going to make the recipe. Today we've got all of the ingredients over there. And there is a rainbow in the show. There is always a rainbow in the show. And you guys have to tell me what is underneath the rainbow. This one might be a little bit tricky for you if you are new to the show. So I do apologise for that. They are not all this difficult. So let's come over to our overhead camera. There we go. Okay, so we've got all of our ingredients here today. So it's like a pretty simple recipe. We've got, these are meant to be porridge oats, but these are actually like so much kind of like chunkier than I'm actually used to. These are meant to be porridge oats, but to me they don't look very porridgey. But they're going to be fine because we're going to be grinding them. I've managed to get some oats in the oil there. Yay me. Here we go, let me just get those out. Okay. Right, so Justine has actually suggested that Joss could put in half a tablespoon of ginger and some nutmeg. Okay, yeah, she's open to trying it. That's great. Okay, so sorry, there's a lot of comments coming in all of a sudden. You guys are being very chatty. Colleen, of course, way ahead of everybody else is Jeff and Day and Bo under the rainbow. Yes, it is. So, all right, this is me and Jeff. I mean, okay, so I should probably be about down there because I'm quite a bit shorter than he is. And this is, of course, Bo, who really likes showing us her bottom. Bo and her butt. And these are this is a very adorable little dog bone with her name on it. And I will tell you guys in a moment where you can get these from, because the cutters are absolutely adorable. And then we've got the stars and the moon. Moons are really easy to make. So if you guys don't have like fancy cutters or anything like that, then what you can do is you can just use a round one and cut a circle, and then cut another circle out of it, and you can make some nice moon shapes. So, you know, you guys don't need to have like gingerbread people shapes at all. You could use things like that. That's absolutely fine, and you could just use a cup for that, really. And so these are the cutters that I got from a company called Bakeology. I will put a link to it in the group later on today. How about that? Because I do struggle to say their name. But these are their corgi cutters. And they've got like three different versions of the corgi, and Bo definitely has some corgi in her. So definitely she's a part of royalty. So yeah, they do really cute ones, really kind of like off the wall ones as well. But one thing that you can get is you can get these little bone cutters, and you can get them in small. So this is a small, and you can get them in medium and large. But you can get the dog's name put in here as well, which is super cute, which is really cute. And they do, you know, I've bought like Halloween ones from them. They do, of course, like lots of lovely Christmas ones too, and they do some really random ones of like like bodily organs, just really, really random ones. So you can find them on Etsy. They have an Etsy shop, and this is actually the box that they come in. And I write on it what it is so that I can tell the difference. And here we go. And it comes like with this little card in it telling you like some tips as well. And there you can see the name. I just wanted to show this so that you can see the name. So Bakerology. I always struggle saying that, but Bakerology. And they've got a website there as well. But I just got them from Etsy. So, which I absolutely love. Absolutely love. Okay, so let's just pop this away and then I will answer some questions because I can see that you guys have been asking some questions. Right, Justine says, don't raw test the gram flour. Yeah, gram flour does taste pretty horrible. I mean, I've kind of like trained myself to be able to kind of eat. Oh, I don't know that. That sounds a bit scary, a bit too scary for me. Patricia says, love those cutters. Yep, me too. Me too. Here we go. Okay, and oh, Joss said that she's using gluten flour. Okay, so just a word of warning. Here so that you can see. If you're using gluten flour, I haven't tested this out with regular plain flour, so I can't be 100% sure that it's going to be like the same consistency. But what I would say is that when I the first few times I've done this recipe, I used just regular gram flour, and when I did it that way, I only needed 3 tablespoons of sunflower oil and 3 tablespoons of plant milk. Today, I'm actually using Hodmedod's fava bean flour because it's all that I have in the kitchen, and rather than going out and buying stuff, I'm going to use the fava bean flour because fava bean flour actually acts in a very, very similar way to gram flour. And I really like it. I think it's like such a tasty flour, and it's from Hodmedod's as well, which you guys know that I absolutely adore Hodmedod's because the flour is grown and milled and packaged in the UK, which is just fantastic. But it was much more thirsty, and so that's why I've said in the ingredients list here 3 to 5 tablespoons of sunflower oil, 3 to 5 tablespoons of plant milk. So I would start off with the 3 tablespoons of oil, the 3 tablespoons of plant milk, see how the mixture is, and then if it needs more liquid, then add more liquid. And so Joss, as you're using gluten flour today, it might be a bit more thirsty, it might be a bit less thirsty. So just start off with the 3 tablespoons of each and then work your way up from there. Okay, so let me just see if we've got any more questions before I get started. So Anna says, can I add seeds for more crunch? Have found some linseeds in my cupboard. Okay, so the issue will be with a recipe like this that you won't be able to cut them cleanly. Okay, so when I was actually grinding these oats didn't grind as finely as the regular oats that I would normally use, which are the porridge oats from Hodmedod's, which are a lot kind of more powdery. These have much more texture to them. They're a lot kind of firmer. And so there was a little bit of texture in here, which means that the lines aren't as crisp. So that will be the issue. And also when you are using the cutters, you'll press down into it, and the seeds can get caught underneath the edges. So that would be the effect of it. So it's completely up to you. You still get like nice cookies. It just means that they won't be so clear. Which I think if you're doing stars, probably fine. If you're doing gingerbread man, probably fine. If you're doing something like boba cookies, of course, like there's a lot of detail that is in here that may get lost if you have those bits in it. So it's completely up to you. And we've got a few more questions. Khan says, can I use coconut oil if I don't have sunflower oil? Yes, absolutely. I think that would be a really, really nice addition. So just melt that down before you add it. And Denise says, thank you for sharing the cookie info. I mean, we can just talk for days about cookies if you want. And she also says, can I use agave instead of molasses? Okay, so the molasses in this recipe is to make it taste a bit more kind of gingerbread-like. So molasses is definitely, a key ingredient that will do that. So if you guys remember Jamaican ginger cake, which is very, very popular in the UK in the 80s, and I absolutely loved it as a kid, especially like, having it hot with hot custard made by birds, not bird's eye. That was such a lovely treat, and so I love the taste of molasses. But that's why I've said in the ingredients list it's optional. So you can just take it out and they will taste nice as they are. You don't even need to swap it out for agave or anything like that. The role of it in this recipe isn't the liquidiness of it; it's the taste. It's the taste. So you can just admit that if you want to, Denise. That's absolutely fine. And Annie says that the story did used to scare me too. Oh, I don't think I want to hear it. I'm such a wimp with stuff like that. Colleen says, should I have ground my oats? We are going to grind our oats in a minute once I stop talking. I'm sorry, I'm still going on. I like 23 minutes in. Anna says, good to know on the seeds. Thanks, no worries at all. And Doug said he's cooking along. Okay, right, now let's get going. Let's get going. Otherwise, we're never going to have any cookies today. Okay, right, so first of all, we need to grind our oats. And we're going to be using a high-speed blender to do that. And I'm using this one. Which Gloria, I don't know if Gloria is here today, but Gloria actually bought it for Jeff. And so I make quite a lot of things in it. And, quite often, we'll think that this type of thing can be used for a smoothie because on the packet, that's kind of what they always advertise, that it's about smoothies and juices and, that type of thing. But if you're only using it for a smoothie, to make a smoothie, then really, it's really not fulfilling its potential because there is so much that you can do with a piece of equipment like this. Because it's a bit like having a NutriBullet. Sorry, not a NutriBullet. Oh gosh, what? I can't remember what's the name of those really fancy blenders. It's just completely escaped my head. That are like £500. So you've got the Blendtec one. That's one of them. And they're just ridiculously expensive. And they do work very, very well, but you can get a similar effect in something like this. So we're going to be grinding our oats with it today. But you can also make some really, really lovely cashew cream. Oh, Anna, thank you. Thank you. Vitamix. Yes. And Colleen and Karen and George and everyone else. I'm sorry. I'm kind of obviously losing my words. They're just kind of falling out of my ear at the moment. Oh my gosh, I've got like so many comments. So many comments. That's got you all talking. I should just forget my words more often, actually. Oh, Erin does actually have a Vitamix and says that she loves it. Yeah, they are really, really good bits of equipment, definitely. But of course, not everyone wants to spend that much money. So, you can get something like this and you can do quite similar things with it. So we're going to be grinding our oats in there today. So we're just going to pop our oats into the jug that comes with it. Here we go. We've got 200 grams of oats, and I have given you the option of just using ground almond because, of course, we can buy ground almond. It's already ground for us. It's very fine, so that's a really good swap for this recipe. If I can, I like to substitute ground almond with oats. And that's because, I live in the UK. We don't grow almonds here, unfortunately. But oats we do. So it just means that, the cookies that I'm making are a bit more sustainable. There you go. So we're going to blend this. So mind your ears, guys. It is going to be quite noisy. These things do make a lot of sound. And I'm just going to put it on for like 10 seconds and then I'm going to take it off and just like shake it around a bit. Make sure that we're going to grind all of those bits. So watch your ears now. we go. Oh, Patricia said that she bought a Magimix. Oh, that's wonderful. Magimixes are great. Really, really good. And Khan says people will be happy. Sorry, just need to scroll up to see that. People will be happy, will be able to be happy to know that our country is on track to introduce plant-based alternatives. That's very good. Very, very good. And Justine says, ground almond. Okay guys, so you may have noticed that I'm just hitting it there. And the reason why is just to keep the flour moving around the blender whilst it's blending. Okay, so Erin said, what is gram flour? That's a very, very good question. So it depends. It depends. There isn't a clear answer, unfortunately. It can just be made with chickpeas, but it can also be made with chickpeas and also yellow split peas. So they can, the brands can differ slightly between them. But it's a very, very nice gluten-free flour, and it's a gluten-free flour that's available in lots of places in the UK, lots of supermarkets, and it's very, very cheap. But I must say, like, you know, if you guys ever try out a gram flour recipe and it doesn't quite work out as you would expect it to, you know, the reason might be that the person making the recipe used a different brand to you, and maybe their gram flour was 100% chickpea flour and the stuff that you're using is chickpea flour and yellow pea flour mixed together. So yeah, just bear that in mind. Oh, George says, yes, I love my Vitamix too. Very worthwhile investment. I burnt through a ninja motor crushing some ice. My Vitamix is indestructible. I use it every day. Yeah, they're great things to have if you're going to kind of like use it every day. Okay, so we'll just pop our oats into the bowl. And then we can add our sugar. So again, ran out of coconut sugar. Doug actually told me that he's really struggling to find coconut sugar at the moment. So using just like a unrefined soft brown sugar by Billingtons, which are a very, very good brand in the UK. So just pop that in. These cookies aren't massively sweet, so you can add more sugar if you want to. So, you know, see how you find them, and then you can always add more sugar next time. And then we've got our 75 grams of gram flour, or in my case, fava bean flour, which is the flour that I'm using today. But they are pretty much, you know, you can swap them out. You know, they have like very, very similar properties. Okay, so now we can add our ground ginger. So we've got 1 tablespoon of ground ginger in here, which is quite a lot because they are ginger cookies. So whenever I want to eat a ginger cookie, I want a ginger cookie that tastes of ginger. Not like subtly ginger, because I always find that very, very disappointing. But, you know, I want it to properly taste of ginger. So we've got 1 tablespoon ground ginger in here. So all of the dry ingredients in the bowl together. And then just mix it up really, really well. Oh, Annie said I demolished my Vitamix by forgetting that I'd put the middle part of the lid inside the... Oh, no! The next time I went to use it, I couldn't find it. Forgot where I put it and started making a smoothie. I thought it was the crunching of the ice. Oh, that's sad. Oh, Paula said that he shared, but his sharer status doesn't seem to be showing. Oh, no. Well, thank you for sharing the live show. That's really, really great of you. Thank you. And I know that you've invited quite a lot of people to it today, which is lovely. Okay, so now we just need to add our wet ingredients. So we've got our sunflower oil here, and I'm starting out with 3 tablespoons. And then we've got our plant milk. I'm just using an unsweetened soya milk, you know, just kind of like a cheap one. It is organic though. So it's that one. But we're just going to start off with 3 tablespoons. So 3 tablespoons. And I'm going to add my molasses. So 1 teaspoon of molasses. And then I'm going to mix it in, and we're going to see how we go. I think that it will probably need more liquid than this, but if you're using gram flour, you might be okay just with the 3 tablespoons and 3 tablespoons. There we go. So I've used a sunflower oil. Any kind of like flavourless oil is fine. I think Carly's using coconut oil, which I think would probably be, you know, unrefined coconut oil, so it will have the taste of coconut. But that will go really, really well with the ginger anyway, so I think that would be lovely. So just popping the plant milk in there as well. And you can use olive oil for a recipe like this as well. I've used olive oil in a lot of cookie recipes and I actually really, really like it. Okay, so 1 teaspoon of our lovely molasses. I mean, I just think the molasses just looks so divine. Anyway, I really, really, really like it. Molasses in nice cream, you know, blended frozen bananas is absolutely delicious. Really, really delicious. I've even been known to use it as like a, you know, like the ice cream syrup that you'll drizzle on top. Very, very nice. Okay, so let's just mix this in and see how we go. So this is going to make quite a lot of cookies, guys. Quite a lot of cookies. I think sometimes, you know, when I've made cookies with you, like we've made like not enough. This is going to make quite a lot. There we go. Okay, so at some point we're going to need to get our hands involved. And I'm just going to pop my oil and my milk there with a tablespoon. So if I need to add more, then they're right there. So now just getting my hands involved and seeing how we're doing. So really just squishing this all together. Doug says mine's a lot drier. Mine is, you know, mine's fairly dry. So add equal parts of sunflower oil and milk. So start with 1 tablespoon of milk, 1 tablespoon of oil, and then we'll bring it up from there. There we go. So mine's too dry as well. So I'll add 1 tablespoon. Oh, and Colleen said, should the oil and milk be in equal parts? Yeah. Yeah, it should. Go 1 and 1. And then I'll mix it in and see how we're doing. Oh, Patricia said, I love molasses in my porridge. Oh, yeah, that's a very good idea. Very good idea. I love that. Denise says, one of the people I invited this morning, Steve Williamson, and he is joining us now. Ah, welcome, 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 Steve. Thank you for joining us. Okay, and I'm going to add another 1 tablespoon of milk, 1 tablespoon of oil, and I think that should be it for me using fava bean flour. There we go. So this will now come together as a dough. And we do need to work it and really, really knead it, because we need a pliable dough. We're going to be rolling it out. So it needs to hold together as we roll it out. So we are kneading it just like you would with bread, and that's going to help just make it kind of more kind of elastic and really hold together. So it's a bit of a workout, this one, really. But the more you do it, you know, I'm just kind of like pushing down, folding over, pushing down. I'm just doing that repeatedly. There we go. Oh, Khan said, my cats have gathered at the smell of freshly blended almond. That must be lovely. Okay, here we go. And it feels quite firm now. There we go. So that's what we're looking for. That's what we're looking for. So now we can just put these to one side. Here we go. And get our baking paper. And then we need our other sheet of baking paper. So these are actually reusable baking sheets that I use. And so we pop our dough between the sheets. And I'm just going to help out the rolling pin a bit by just pressing it down with this part of my hand. There we go. And as you can see, look, there are little bits of oat that I can see that weren't blended properly. I was a bit miffed actually when I saw how big the porridge oats were that I ordered. Because as I said, I usually do get them in big brown sacks from Hodmedod's, and they're usually like the fine oats, and that's what I always cook with. Really, is like those types of oats because they will blend down very well, very well. Okay, right, and now with our trusty rolling pin, we can just roll the dough out. So it's about, I would say about 4 or 5 mil thick. There we go, and we can be quite rough with it. It is quite firm. Just move that out of the way. And there is quite a lot of it in there as well, so I think it's really going to take up most of the sheet. Let's have a look. Oh, Colin says mine is a little sticky. Okay, well in that case, I would add more flour. Add more flour. Oh, Johnny's here! Johnny says, sorry I'm late and I love cookies. It's kids. And Erin says, where do you find the reusable baking paper? Well, I actually bought this paper from Ocado. So Erin, I don't know if you're in the UK or elsewhere. Do let me know. But yeah, it's very handy. I mean, I did manage to cut through this one, which was a bit silly. But there you go. Okay, so now we can just start cutting out our cookies. There we go. Oh, and Paul says ordering bulk can be an issue if it's not what you expected. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it really can. I mean, fortunately, it was a 500-gram box, so I won't be buying that one again. And I will be buying from Hodmedod's because I do really like Hodmedod's and what they do. So I will be placing an order with them soon. If you haven't checked out their website, then do have a look. So now we can just pop our cookies onto a baking sheet. Let me just get rid of this bit. There we go. So whenever I am cutting something out like this, I always remove this bit around the edge first. Oh no! Oh, his arm came off. Whoops. So I always just take off this bit around the edge first, so that then I can get to our gingerbread person. There we go. So how many have we made so far? So we've got 4 so far. I think we could probably make around 8 with this. So I hope you guys have set your ovens. Well, those of you who are cooking along, of course. Okay, so now with the remainder of this dough, it will just be able to be moulded back together. And then we can roll it out again. There we go. Okay, so Erin's in America, so of course she won't be getting a cardo there. But let me actually just go and get the box. There you go, and then you can see the brand because I'm sure that you can get it there. There we go, Bako Glide, which sounds very American to me, so it probably is American actually. So I don't think you'll struggle to find it over there, but they are very, very, very useful. You can also get liners for cake tins as well. So rather than just like this flat sheet, it will actually be kind of like shaped. They're very, very useful. Very, very useful indeed. Okay. So, oh, Colleen says, sorry, only just rolling out now. That's okay. How thick should it be? I think around... No, I didn't. I'm going to go and get my ruler, babe. Just to make sure that I give you, like, the right information. Oh, no, I was actually right. It's 4 mil. So 4 or 5 mil. But to be honest, you know, you can make them as thin or as thick as you want. You know, when I made a similar recipe as stars for Christmas, I made them quite thin. The only thing that you need to change is, of course, the cooking time. So if you do them quite thin, they'll need less time in the oven. If you do them quite thick, they'll need longer in the oven. So at 4 or 5 mil thick, they'll need about 10 minutes in the oven. For the very, very thin ones, you know, it might only be like 5 minutes or something like that, but you need to keep an eye on them. You really, you know, if they're going to be that thin, you do need to keep an eye on them. Right. There we go. So guys who are cooking along at home, I hope that you are doing well with your cookies. I'm very, very excited to see the pictures of yours that you will later on be sharing in the community hub. Here we go. Yeah, so I think that we're going to probably get 8 out of these, and they are big. You know, they are. It's a pretty big person. And as I said, you know, these aren't that sweet, which I think is a really good thing if you intend to decorate them. You know, I don't tend to decorate mine. I quite like the fact that they look like this kind of Anthony Gormley kind of generic person. And you know, of course, like I try to limit the amount of refined sugar that I have in my diet, but you know, if you want to add, you know, some icing decoration to them, then I think it's great that the actual cookies aren't massively sweet, because it will balance out the sweetness of decorative icing, which, you know, of course, as we know, is like amazingly sweet. Amazingly sweet. Okay, almost there, guys. And then we can pop these in the oven. I don't know if I'm even going to have space for this. So with these cookies, they're not going to spread out. And that's why this dough works for cookie cutters. So we always need to work with some sort of cookie dough that isn't going to spread. Because of course, if it spreads, then what's going to happen is our gingerbread people aren't going to look like people anymore. So this is a dough that will absolutely just kind of like keep its shape. And as you saw before with the bow cookie, even that detail that was in the cookie cutter really showed up very, very well. So if you've got things like stamps as well, you can use them with these cookies. And that's a very, very nice thing to do. So there are stamps that you can get with, like, you know, different like words on and symbols and that type of thing. So you could just like make round cookies and then use a stamp and just stamp them. And that would be very nice. I think we're just going to have to make some round ones now. There we go, we've got space for that. There we go. And well, And then eventually you'll get to the point where you only have like these little bits left. But I'm not going to put those in the bin because I'm not mad. It's still going to be great food. So we're just going to make, there we go, round one. Actually, can we make it then? Yeah, we can make another star out of this. Okay, so Paul says there is a lady in the Galway market here who is very good at decorating gingerbread men with different themes. May not be vegan gingerbread though. Oh, you should definitely tell her to make them vegan. Definitely, definitely. So what themes then? There we go. We've got a few stars coming out of this one. Khan says, what do you call a gingerbread man with a degree? I have no idea. Paul said, when cookie cutter was mentioned, I did not think of gingerbread man cutter. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think normally kind of people specify. Okay, we've got this little bit left. There we go. Okay, so these are going to go in the oven for around 10 minutes. If the cookies are quite small, they'll take a bit of less time to cook as well. But I would say, like, you know, put them in the oven, check them at around 8 minutes, something like that. Okay, right. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? There you are. There you are. Okay. Oh, a smart cookie. So gingerbread man with degrees. You guys make me laugh. Colleen says, I wonder if she'll do a version of Bernie Sanders with his mittens. Some of those pictures are absolutely hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. The one with Deadpool sitting on his lap. Perfect. I really, really like that one. Okay, guys. So these are going to go in the oven for 10 minutes. So we might actually just be in time to see them at the top of the hour come out of the oven. Do let me know if you guys have any questions. Anna says, how sticky dough is okay? So it needs to be malleable. But it can't be like sticking to your hands. So you could see like how I was able to knead it. So that's really, really the key, because, you know, if you think of like bread dough, like when you're kneading it, it doesn't kind of like all stick to your hands. It kind of like all of the dough that's there kind of like works itself into the dough. And Paul says time in oven for 10 minutes only. Yeah, it's around 10 minutes. I mean, the thing is, like with this recipe, you know, you might have rolled your dough out a bit thinner or a bit thicker than mine. Also, I test my my oven temperature, whereas most people don't. Most people don't do that. So often ovens are either lower than they say they are or higher than they say they are. So that is why with recipes, and especially recipes like this, where the amount of time that we're cooking it for is quite a short amount of time, and 2 minutes either way, you know, 2 minutes too few, 2 minutes too many, could mean the difference, you know, in quality. I mean, you're not going to burn the cookies in 2 minutes, but they are going to be maybe a bit more crisp than you would like, or a bit kind of too soft. You know, I don't like the cookies to be soft. I like them to have like a crunch to them, and that's one of the really, really lovely things about these cookies, is there's a proper crunch to it. So I would say, if your cookies are around 4 or 5 mil thick, put them into the oven and check at around 8 minutes. Check it around 8 minutes. And let me just bring these over. These are here's one I made earlier, so that I can show you. So what we're looking for is, see how the edges here have started to brown. That's your visual cue for if they are done. And what you can also do is, you know, if you have like put like a little cookie on there, then you can just kind of like nip it out and just, you know, you can just see, break it apart, see if it's like cooked however much you want it to be cooked. So let me just come around and show you a close up of this. Right, there we go, guys. So you see how like these little edges have really started to go brown? That's what we're looking for. That will tell you. There we go. So these cookies I did cook for well, actually it was about 11 minutes, because, you know, I looked at 8 minutes and I looked at 10 minutes and they still weren't as golden as I like them to be. Okay, so just in the oven. Gluten was a bit more thirsty. Had to use 6 tablespoons of milk and oil. It worked well though. I'm really, really glad though that we've got that like flexibility for you guys, because, you know, the different flours that we'll use, even if we're using, say for example, we both use gram flour, the gram flour that you're using might be a little bit different to mine. So you've got that flexibility so that you can work with, you know, different flours if that's what you've got. Anna said, great, thanks. So I'll add more gram flour. Yes, if it's too sticky, then add a bit more gram flour, but just add it like a bit at a time, because what you don't want to do is like get into that thing where like you add like more flour and then it's too dry, and then you add more milk and then it's too wet, and you know. So just do it kind of like incrementally in small bits. Annie says, I got 8 gingerbread people and 1 blob. That's the taste tester. Yes, absolutely. Justine said, don't tell Joss I'm home early. What? Wouldn't she know? Because she's there. What? And Justine is also hoping they are shark bread cookies. Oh, you've got a shark cutter. That's cool. That's cool. And if you want soft cookies, do you take them out 5 minutes early? Okay, so you guys aren't using gram flour, are you? I think you're using regular plain flour, so you'll be okay to undercook them slightly. If you're using gram flour or indeed fava bean flour, of course the raw taste of it isn't very pleasant at all. So we do want to make sure that the flour is cooked out properly. So I would say, you know, if you're using gram flour, then cook them to about like 7-8 minutes. And maybe it might be the same for you, Justine, as well, with regular flour. Connie says, I wound up having to throw the dough back in the bowl and add a total of 2 tablespoons more gram flour. Blimey. Just I can read. Yeah. And just has made a mix of sharks, penguins, and Nightmare Before Christmas. Oh my god, I really want to see those on the community hub. Like, you have to show me them. They're going to be epic. Okay, guys, let me know if you have any more questions, and I will see how my gingerbread people are doing in the oven. Oh. Right, I still kind of forget that I'm wearing glasses, and I open the oven door and then I just like can't see anything. Still getting used to that. So I'm going to bring you guys to the overhead camera so that you can see what they're like mid-bake. So not much has changed, The very, very edge of the star is browning, and that's all. So these do need another 4 minutes, I reckon. Okay, so do let me know how you guys are getting along at home if you are cooking with me. Patricia, I think that you're cooking with your kids today, which is super exciting. Do let me know how you're getting on. Paul says, could I save some of the gingerbread dough mixture in the fridge if I wanted to get a gingerbread cutter? Yes, absolutely. But I would say, Paul, literally just use like a cup or something like that. Let me just show you. There is this wine glass that I really, really like to use. Now, if you're using glass, be really, really super careful. So basically, don't use it, you know, as a cookie cutter when you're angry. Don't slam it down. Okay, do it very, 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 very carefully. But I like using this, and I will bring this over to the camera again, because it has quite a clean edge. Like, there isn't like much of a roll to it on the edge here. So using it as a cookie cutter works really, really well. So maybe you've got something similar in your house that you can use. And as I showed you earlier, you know, you can use something like this to make moon shapes. So you don't just have to make boring old round cookies if you don't want to. You could use something like this to make moon shapes, and in fact you can even make some really cute stars with a round shape as well. But I think that it will be okay to be in the fridge for a little while, but it might dry out a bit. It might dry out a bit. So if it does dry out, then add some of the wet ingredients. Okay, so Jane is cutting moons and stars. Lovely, lovely. Anna says added 3 tablespoons of gram flour. Blimey, blimey. Okay, and Doug says I've redone the dough. Mine was too sticky. Looks good now. Good, good, good. Yeah, I think we've had like quite a lot of variation in like the amount of liquid that's been needed today. So I'm glad that we've got that flexibility. And I think it's really, really good for you guys to know how to like fix recipes as well, because, you know, quite often there will be fluctuations in the ingredients that we use. You know, the brands will be like slightly different from each other. And also, the thing is, like with flour, there's this thing called the farination effect, which is the effect of the environment on the flour. So, you know, whether it's a humid day, whether it's a dry day, that can actually affect how flour performs. And people who are, you know, bread bakers, they will be familiar with that, because you'll have a recipe and you've made it like a dozen times before, but you can't just stick to that recipe religiously. You know, sometimes it will be a bit too wet, sometimes it will be a bit too dry, and you just kind of have to roll with it and listen to what the ingredients are telling you. Okay, so, Annie says my grandson is coming later. He will love this. Good, good, good. That's really lovely. Justine says I got worried Joss was frying the cookie. That would be a new one. But she's multitasking and making lunch. That's very good. Yeah, and you are a bit spoiled. It's good. It's good. It's good to spoil your loved one. Karen says I have is that a fox? Is that a fox or a cat? I can't tell. Very tiny. I have a fox cookie cutter, which I'm looking forward to using. That sounds lovely. Oh, and Patricia says, don't ask how it's going. It's too messy. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. I hope they're having a lot of fun. Paul says, the gingerbread man cutter I meant. Okay, yes, yeah. I mean, you can wait to get that, but yeah, it might dry out a bit. Khan says, that aroma is drawing in my mother from her room. Must be time. Good, good, good. Oh, and Karen has confirmed that it is a fox. It is a fox. That's brilliant. Yeah, I really, really do want to see all these. We're going to have such a lovely photography exhibition in the community hub later on today. Okay, so I think that my cookies should be done. So let's bring you guys back to the overhead camera so that you can see when they come out the oven. Oh. Okay, I can't actually see anything, guys. I can't. Yay! Okay, so I'm going to stick these back in the oven for another couple of minutes, because to my liking, these aren't enough. These aren't cooked enough. These will still be like a little bit soft, and I want them to be a bit crunchy. So I'm going to just put them back in the oven for about 2 or 3 minutes, but I'm going to keep an eye on them, okay? If you're going to increase the cooking time, then just do keep an eye on them. So, you know, don't go away and like leave them for 10 minutes, because they will likely be overcooked. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it there for today, guys. And of course, today I am gonna taste test. I mean, we've already been eating them all morning, but you didn't see that, so. Karen says, I promise to take photos before I start eating them. Actually, I would love like photos of you guys eating your cookies. Okay, so that's today's challenge. I don't just want photos of the cookies. I want photos of you guys eating your cookies. Please, 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 please. That would be lovely. I'd love to see your happy smiling faces. Okay, guys. Thank you for joining me today. I will see you same time, same place next Saturday. In the meantime, do have a really, really, really lovely week. Yeah, and I'll see you next week for another recipe. I have no idea what I'm making. If you guys have any suggestions, then please do let me know. Looking forward to seeing those pictures later. And as always, have a good day.